What would you do if the person you misunderstood your entire life left behind the only truth you ever needed? What if the person you pushed away was the only one who ever saw you clearly? This is the story of David and the letters that changed everything. Chapter 1. The Return Home. David slammed the car door harder than necessary. Dust from the long-forgotten driveway swirled up around his worn sneakers as he stared at the two-story house in front of him. His childhood home, quiet, still, haunted not by ghosts, but by memories. He hadn't been back since the funeral 2 years ago. Not since they lowered his mother's casket into the ground. Not since he promised himself he'd never come back. But now, after losing his job, his apartment, and any sense of purpose, he had nowhere else to go. His aunt had kept the place somewhat tidy, but it still smelled like old books and lavender soap. The same scent his mother loved. David dropped his bag by the staircase and walked through the living room. Everything was still the same. The worn-out brown couch, the chipped coffee table, and the faded photograph of him and his mom on the mantel. He scoffed. How could one woman mean so much to everyone but him? She was always so kind, so patient, so perfect. At least that's what everyone said at the funeral. They didn't know how controlling she was, how she always knew best, how she refused to let him be his own person. That night, restless and alone, David found himself in the attic. That's when he saw it. A small wooden box with a gold latch. No lock, no name. Just a sticky note on top that said, "For David, when he's ready." Chapter 2. The first letter. He carried the box downstairs, placed it on the table, and stared at it like it might explode. Inside were dozens of envelopes, each carefully dated, each one sealed. Each one was addressed to my son, David. His hands trembled as he opened the first letter. August 2nd, 2006. You're 7 years old today. You just asked me why the sky is blue. I didn't have a perfect answer. I told you it's because blue is your favorite color, and the sky wanted to make you smile. You laughed so hard, you almost fell off the couch. I hope you always laugh like that. I hope you always ask questions. David smirked. He vaguely remembered that day. He pulled out another one. November 11th, 2009. You failed your math test today. You were so angry with yourself. I wish I could tell you that one test won't define you, that life is bigger than scores. But I also know you won't believe me. Not yet. Another. June 3rd, 2011. You yelled at me today. You said I didn't understand you. Maybe I don't. But I'm trying. God knows I'm trying. His throat tightened. These letters, they were never meant to control him. They were her way of holding on, of loving him, silently, patiently, completely. Chapter 3. The play, one letter caught his eye. It was thicker. He opened it. March 22nd, 2012. You don't know this, but I skipped my chemotherapy today. I didn't tell anyone. I couldn't miss your school play, not for the world. You were playing the tree, just a tree. You didn't even have lines, but you were my tree, and you were perfect. You asked me afterward if I was okay. I said I was tired. I lied. David dropped the letter. His mother had cancer. Then, she never told him. She had smiled that day, taken him for ice cream, and hugged him like it was a normal Tuesday. He wiped his eyes with the sleeve of his hoodie. Why didn't she ever say anything? Chapter 4. The Fight. December 19th, 2014. You told me to get out of your life, that I was ruining everything. I went to my room and cried for an hour. Not because of what you said, but because I could see the pain behind it. I just didn't know how to reach you. I still don't. He remembered that fight. He'd just dropped out of college. She begged him to reconsider. He told her she never believed in him. But she did. She always had. He was just too angry to see it. Chapter 5. The Diagnosis. July 8th, 2017. Stage 4. They say I have a year, maybe less. I don't know how to tell you. You're not ready. I'm not ready either. Letter after letter, David pieced together the final years of her life. Her hospital visits, her fear, her loneliness. And yet, she always ended her letters with, "I love you, even if you don't see it right now." Chapter 6. The final letter. The last envelope had no date, just a message written on the outside. Open when you're truly ready. David sat on the couch, tears already falling before he even opened it. My dearest David, if you're reading this, it means you've come back, and that alone fills my soul with peace. I don't know what brought you here, pain, loss, maybe even anger, but I hope what you found is something deeper. I've watched you struggle your whole life to understand where you belong. I wish I could have made the world softer for you, but I knew one day you would have to fall in order to rise. Don't let your pain become your identity. You are not your mistakes. You are not your anger. You are more than the years you wasted trying to run from your own heart. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself the way I have always loved you, without condition, without limit. And if you ever have a son someday, write him letters. Tell him how proud you are before it's too late. I'll be waiting. Love, Mom. Chapter 7. The breakdown. David collapsed onto the floor. He cried for hours. Not soft tears, sobs. He cried for every moment he missed, every birthday he skipped, every I love you he left unsaid. That night, he walked to the cemetery for the first time in 2 years. Letter in hand. No words, just silence. He placed the final letter on her grave. I get it now, he whispered. I'm sorry I took so long. Chapter 8. The rebirth. 6 months later, David looked different, calmer, stronger. He'd started volunteering at a youth center, helping kids like him, lost, angry, unsure. He told them stories. He listened. He showed up. One of the teens asked, "What made you change?" David smiled. A box of letters. Chapter 9. The legacy years passed. David became a published author. His book, The Last Letter, became a national bestseller. People from around the world wrote in, sharing their stories of forgiveness, grief, and healing. In the final chapter, he wrote, "My mother taught me one final lesson, without ever saying it aloud. Patience is the purest form of love, because it asks for nothing, but gives everything." Chapter 10. Full circle. One crisp autumn day, David walked up to the same grave, now with his daughter by his side. She held a piece of paper in her hand. "Is it okay if I read her my letter?" she asked. David nodded, his voice catching in his throat. As she read aloud, he placed a letter of his own next to the tombstone. The envelope read, "Thank you. Not all stories end with answers. Some end with understanding. If you've lost someone, if you've waited too long to say the things you should have said, write the letter anyway, speak the words anyway, forgive anyway. Because love has no deadline." Moral of the story. Be patient with the people you love. You never know the battles they're silently fighting. Don't wait for the perfect moment to say how you feel. That moment may never come. Patience, not perfection, is the true proof of love.